Hello and welcome to another modelling video. Today I'm going to be building and reviewing the 120 scale Lah Sune by popular demand. This kit was produced in February 1981, shortly after the original release, and is casted in styrene. The kit retails at 100 yen. The character appears in Mobile Suit Gundam as a minor character with a significant amount of importance, and this box is an original vintage. Our instructions are located on the rear with basic painting guide with no particular colour in mind. The picture actually does look quite revolting, and I believe I may be able to do a little better job. The artwork on front and the side of the box is quite stunning, and I would like to capture that old school painted look. The kit was manufactured in Japan with Japanese text, and the side displays other kits you can buy, including the other two figures that I currently own and will build one day. Tilda was bought in Japan, where Lala and Gamma was bought on eBay fairly cheap in an auction. The plastic is moulded in a bleach cream plastic at a slightly poorer quality than your Bandai kits today, the original plastic, and behind the base displays the old school Bandai logo and vintage date. The styrene is nicely moulded with great detail in the dress and limbs, though the face seems a bit drowned out and will be difficult to paint. This kit intends you to glue it together like a styrene 35th scale military kit, with a few seams that shouldn't be too difficult to remove since the clothing isn't too detailed, though I intend on pinning the legs because it'll be difficult to paint or airbrush with the dress present. The moulding also prevents you in posing the kit in any other position besides loosely off the box art, and she's only standing on one foot, which is difficult to attach to the base, so I also intend on pinning that as well. The pieces are glued together with styrene cement, and the pinning process will be super glue. Once constructed, I filled all the seam lines with Tamiya basic type putty in one go, and after drying sanded it back with 150 dry sandpaper followed by 300 wet and dry in a wet state. Because of a few faults with this kit, only a couple of nub marks, I was free to use a fine surface primer and chose a white colour. This is to uniform the colour so I'm able to use delicate shades of yellow and flesh like the box art. I used a mud brown to paint the flesh, and then post shaded on top of that a creamy lighter brown flesh colour to produce her Indian complexion. This is my first time airbrushing or shading on a figure, and I found the process, even in this scale, quite easy and very effective looking with a double action airbrush and keeping the PSI quite low and the range controlled. After a few days drying, I used Neo Mask to mask off all the flesh areas to do more airbrushing and shading. This isn't the best product because it dries way too quickly. I used a darker acrylic brown and pre-shaded all the folds areas around the dress, including the top of the breasts and inside the sleeves. Then in between the brown, coloured in the rest of the figure with yellow. After drying, I very lightly shaded on some mixture of yellow, white and sand to tone down the shading. After drying, the mask was carefully removed, and I've started painting some detail by hand, including the shoes and hair. Later, the details in the face needed to be highlighted, which is very difficult by painting in the white of the eyes and pupil later. And last, using epoxy glue, I glued in the feet inside the skirt and mounted it straight into the base. The base was painted with lacquer black and had a decal placed on top with top coat. The rest of the figure was top coated with matte. This is my first figure in a long time. It's been a while since I've done wargaming stuff, and a very long time since I've done military figures, which I was not very good at the time. I feel I've done quite a good job, and for a vintage kit, this is an extremely fun build and a great change from normal building. If you do come across it, I do recommend it for a fun build for an intermediate level modeler if you're going to hand paint it or airbrush it. Thank you for watching, and until next time.